Disclaimer: the video you are about to see has content that contains swearing, substance referencing, violence, and/or partial on-screen nudity. If you are a person under 13 years of age, do not watch this video by order of COPPA. In general, if you are over 13 but are sensitive, you may exit this video and find a nice wholesome video to watch. Viewer discretion is advised. Persona 5, one of the greatest JRPGs of all time and currently the best installment of the Megami Tensei series, courtesy of the grandfather of JRPG developers and publishers, Atlus. This game has been praised by everyone and their grandmothers for its story, music, visuals, combat system, and character development. So much so that it had won several awards, including the Game Award for Best Role-Playing Game.
Let's go through some other categories. The Best Role-Playing Game. Congratulations to the team at Atlus for Persona 5.
It has already spawned a remastered version as well as 2 spin-off games, a DLC in Catherine Fullbody, also published by Atlus, mountains of merchandise, and a stage musical released exclusively in Japan. And with the release of Persona 5 Royal for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox One, as well as the release of the final chapter of Persona 5 The Stage, the timing couldn't be better. However, I won't be reviewing the game itself, because seeing as how many other people have reviewed this game to death, for me it would just be beating a dead horse. So instead, I'll be reviewing the anime adaptation, Persona 5 the Animation. Okay, yes, I am aware that there are a lot of people who hate the anime, but in my opinion, I don't think it's as bad as other people say it is. I mean, sure, there are lots of reasons why it's hated, but the thing is, it's not bad, it's just poorly executed. And I'm going to give all the people who hate it the benefit of the doubt and explain that it's not as bad if you look at it from a different angle. I'm planning on splitting this review into several parts and also mention some scenes in the original game that have been omitted from the anime, so the scenes that you will see here will make a lot more sense. So now that everything is out of the way, it's time to suit up, dive into the metaverse, and change the hearts of all the corruption in society. This is Persona 5 the Animation. The series opens with a cryptic monologue from the keeper of our lead character.
The world as it exists now is not the way it should be. White noise drowns righteousness, leaving ruin to fill its place.
The time for you to rise against the forming abyss of distortion is nigh.
After that, we take a look at what appears to be a colossal-sized casino.
Let's go 31! Let's see it!
2 red, you lose.
Oh!
I was born lucky. You see? I win!
Hit me!
Hit me!
Hit me! Hit me!
No! Hit me, Fred Nabbit! He's the boss.
Inside, we see patrons enjoying themselves when we come across some suspicious-looking individuals.
Here we go. You ready to roll?
I say take the shot. Take the bloody shot.
One of them sets off a distraction while another, who goes by the name of Joker, makes his escape.
Is it those phantom thieves again? There he is. Grab him!
He takes what appears to be some sort of case and hides it while making his epic escape through the casino's stained glass window.
Man, he's always so cool. That's not cool, that's just reckless.
However, in the original game, he has to face monsters while battling them with a monster of his own. we'll get to that later. Once Joker makes his escape, he is then surrounded by a police squadron who surround the area.
It's an ambush!
He tries to make his escape, but he ends up being apprehended. After that, he wakes up in a hidden room where he sees that he is being recorded and writes down his name. In the original game, you had the option to create your own name for the character, but here he's given his official canon name. Well, one of two, but that's another story. Anyway, while this is happening, a woman prosecutor comes to the room demanding she interrogate the suspect, only for her to get a phone call from her boss.
Do not make me repeat myself.
I'm not leaving until I've confirmed it myself. Director, you know this case belongs to me.
Okay, Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there and I will rain down an ungodly fucking firestorm upon you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
The prosecutor then enters the room and begins the interrogation.
Listen to me. Anything can happen to you here, and I'm not able to stop it. If you want to stay safe, you have to be honest. What was your objective?
While being interrogated, Armane has no recollection of what has happened when he hears a voice.
You are a prisoner. A prisoner whose future has been taken and torn apart by fate. The key to victory lies in the memories of your bonds. The truth that you and your friends came to understand. I need you to remember, not just for the sake of the world, but for you as well.
Now remember, Pinocchio, be a good boy, and always let your conscience be your guide.
After that, we get a glimpse of what happened before we got to where we are now. We get a flashback of a woman being attacked by a drunk man, only for police to enter. That will be explained later on. We then meet our main character riding a subway train on his way to Tokyo while having flashbacks about a trial. And we officially get acquainted with him and learn his identity. This here is our protagonist for the series, Ren Amamiya, voiced by the announcer of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate himself, Xander Mobus, who also voices Toge Inumaki from Jujutsu Kaisen and Poe from Sword Art Online Alicization. And interestingly enough, he also got to voice Joker when he was included as a DLC fighter. Who would have guessed that the announcer would also voice a character? Anywho, once he arrives at his destination after leaving Shibuya Station, he checks his phone and a strange app suddenly appears on his screen. After he touches it,
That was trippy.
Yeah, he's gonna have to delete that. He then makes his way to Yongan-Jaya, and after arriving, he tries to search for an individual by the name of Sakura. In the original game, you have to try and talk to various residents who are at Yongan-Jaya. They then direct you to the place where he supposedly works at. There you might find him. He then makes his way to a coffee shop by the name of Cafe LeBlanc. Once inside, he then meets the person he's looking for, Sojiro Sakura, voiced by Jameson Price, who also voices Yatsutora Sato from Bleach, Dreyfus from the Seven Deadly Sins, and is also the current announcer for the Mortal Kombat series. He's the owner of the coffee shop and will be serving as Ren's guardian for the rest of his probation.
So, you're the punk they sent over?
Yeah, my name's Ren. Thanks for helping me out.
The reason he's here is because one of Sojiro's regulars is a friend of Ren's parents, and thus they're the one who suggested he be transferred here. Once Sojiro lets him in, he explains that he'll be living in the coffee shop's attic. While there, we hear more about what happens after the incident with the woman and drunken man.
I know you got thrown out of your last high school after you had your little run-in with the cops and ended up with a record. The court ordered you to transfer out here, which your parents were more than happy to agree to.
What were they thinking?
Once we learn some more about what had happened, Sojiro leaves and closes up the shop while Ren starts unpacking and gets ready for bed. But just before that, he receives a notification on his phone. He looks, and what does he see?
Huh? Didn't I delete that?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Once that happens, he wakes up in a strange room wearing inmate clothing. The place where he's in is known as the Velvet Room. In the original game, the Velvet Room is used to create new personas, strengthen them, and turn them into items. And in the remastered version, Persona 5 Royal, it's also used for challenges to obtain items that may be impossible to obtain in the normal stages. In any case, we're introduced to the Velvet Room's master, Igor, voiced by David Lodge, best known as Jiraiya from the Naruto series and Kenpachi Zaraki from Bleach. And also the Velvet Room's wardens, Caroline and Justine, both of whom are voiced by Carrie Karinen, the voice of Satsuki Kiryuin from Kill la Kill, and Guila from the Seven Deadly Sins. It's here that Igor explains to Ren the reason for being inside this room.
This room reflects the state of the occupant's heart. Quite telling that it would reveal itself to you as a prison, but continue down the path you're on and you will surely meet with ruin.
What he means by that is because Ren is currently in a corrupt society, which is one of the reasons how Ren got arrested and sent here in the first place. And so Ren has to go through a mission of rehabilitation in order to survive the system that he will be facing during his probation.
Our paths will cross again soon, but until that time, you must return to the world you came from.
Tell me that didn't happen!
It didn't happen!
The next morning, Ren wakes up and Sojiro takes him to Shujin Academy to get him enrolled. Inside, he meets with the school's principal, as well as his new homeroom teacher, Sadayo Kawakami, voiced by Michelle Roth. Also the voice of Rukia Kuchiki from Bleach, Sinon from the Sword Art Online series, and Cream the Rabbit from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. And interestingly enough, is one of a few voice actors who also voiced characters in previous Persona installments. For instance, she also voiced Yukari Takeba from Persona 3.
You sound like you're back to your usual self again. You know, I have to say, you've been a little out of it lately. It was kind of disappointing, because you were acting all mechanical, like when you first got to the dorm. My name is Kawakami. I'm your homeroom teacher.
Oh, what she just dropped will be explained later, just keep that in mind. While this is happening...
What's going on? Hey! What the hell? You don't stop!
Updated schedules will be available to passengers.
Man, again? Sure seem to be a lot of those happening lately.
What he means by that is there have been several incidents where people suddenly have complete bodily shutdowns and are getting injured or killed. And this had been happening long before Ren arrived in Tokyo. So much so that there are individuals who will be shown later on in the next episode who are currently investigating these strange cases. After that, Ren asks Sojiro a very good question.
You never told me why you took me in, did you?
Well, they asked, and I didn't have a good enough reason to say no. Also, I'm getting paid, if that answers anything.
That's kind of shallow, don't you think?
We then come back to the interrogation room where the prosecutor goes into what we saw with the subway train. In the original game, we constantly go back to the interrogation room whenever a new development or progression of the story occurs. There, the prosecutor acknowledges what had transpired before they got to where they are now. After she acknowledges the train, we then hear more about his friends. We learn in the original game that he is the leader of an infamous group of heroes known as the Phantom Thieves and presents one of their calling cards. After that, she then starts to talk about their very first target.
I need to know what happened to him at the school that night. I need you to tell me the truth.
We then go back to Ren as on his way to his first day at his new school. While he's checking his phone, a hooded figure goes past him. And this hooded figure?
You've got...
universe.
While they're waiting, a car horn then breaks the tender moment.
Aren't you gonna be late? Takamaki, want me to drive you?
Sure, I appreciate it.
The man then offers to give Ren a ride, only for another individual to approach him.
I hate that Kamoshida. Kamoshida?
The other student then starts ranting about the man he just encountered, only for the strange app on Ren's phone to function on its own. The other student then takes interest in Ren after realizing he's the transfer student with the criminal record.
Hang on a sec. Are you the student that just transferred in?
Uh-huh.
But still, hey, are you really the guy? Excuse me?
But just before they get to school...
What the hell is all this? I mean, I'm not complaining, but where'd the school go? I don't know.
They then enter the castle and are in disbelief at its interior.
Oh. Am I on a prank show or something? Don't just ignore me, man. Speak up.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
It doesn't look so shiny to me.
Shinier than yours, meatbag.
They then try to make their escape, only for them to get captured and be sent to a dungeon. When all of a sudden...
Silence! This castle is mine, and everyone within it is my subject.
Kamoshida?
What they're seeing before them is the school's PE teacher, as well as the man who offered Ren a ride, Suguru Kamoshida, voiced by DC Douglas, best known as Yoshikage Kira from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, Azrael from the Blaze Blue series, and the current voice of Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil series. He also voiced the dance instructor for Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
Hello, ladies! Oh, what a cute little girl! Oh, however shall I cope? They mentioned a young girl would be visiting, but look at this cutie pie!
Here he's the king of the castle and talks down to the caged students.
You wish to run away? You aren't a very good friend, now are you? Aw, what's wrong? Then I suppose that'll give me some time to have more fun with this one's execution.
Welcome to hell. I am so dead.
They're about to face their execution, and that's when it happens.
What's wrong?
Are you simply going to watch? Here in his final moments, you would forsake him. Did you make the wrong choice then, too?
I didn't. No.
Vow to me! I am thou. Thou art I. And release thy righteous rage, though thou be chained down by hell itself. Come, Arsene!
This can't be real.
That there was Ren's awakening, and the figure that emerged from Ren was his persona, Arsene. In the original game, each persona had a background explaining who or what exactly they're based off of. For instance, Arsene is based off of Arsène Lupin, a detective and gentleman thief character who first appeared in the 1905 novel The Arrest of Arsène Lupin, written by French author Maurice Leblanc, who the coffee shop is named after. His first crime was stealing a woman's jewels while disguising himself as a guest by the name of Bernard D'Andresi, before hiding them in his camera and letting them get dropped into the water.
Because you have no choice. Let's shake on it.
Yes, the story is what also inspired the critically acclaimed Lupin III series, and yes, the titular character is the grandson of the original Arsène Lupin.
Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean? Whoa, back up. What do you mean, treat you? Huh? Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but I got one too.
After Ren and his persona take care of the knights keeping him and the other student imprisoned, they escape while locking up Kamoshida in the cell they were just in and return to reality.
Hey, you doing okay, man? What were you wearing back there?
I'm the master of disguise.
But just before they can sign relief...
Look, the castle's gone!
What's this about a castle?
Kamoshida!
We're doomed!
Doomed! Doomed!
Back in the interrogation room, the prosecutor starts questioning Ren about their first trip to the other world.
Kamoshida may have acted like he was king of your school, but behind the scenes, he was indulging himself in some deplorable crimes. So why did the Phantom Thieves target Kamoshida? Tell me what happened at Shujin Academy.
Ren and the other student then arrive at Shujin Academy, only to realize they missed half a day of school.
Being late on your first day doesn't make a great first impression.
And that's when Kamoshida makes this insensitive remark.
You've been racking up way too many absences. You didn't pull this crap when you were practicing for the track team.
Wow, what an asshole.
And just after that...
Better straighten up if you want off probation. You can't afford to screw this up.
Trippity, them old tripping balls.
Afterwards, Ren gets introduced to the rest of his class.
His name is Ren Amamiya.
Nice to meet you.
He's then assigned a seat right behind the girl he saw earlier that day.
Let's see, where's your seat? You can take that one.
Wire, I saw you at the station.
Nice to meet you, Takamaki-san.
Did you hear what he said? Oh, MG, do you think that Takamaki-san is cheating on Kamoshida?
Well, this is awkward.
After class finishes, Ren tries to have a normal school life only to already be ostracized by the other students. Then at lunch, just as Ren is about to grab the last piece of Showa-styled fried dough...
I'll take it!
It's a small world after all.
Ren and the other student eat at the rooftop where he questions Ren about the castle they escaped from, as well as telling him some strange rumors about Kamoshida.
Nobody likes standing up to the guy because he's won a gold medal and he took the volleyball team to nationals. And he pretends to be friendly with people. I don't understand what's going on. All that stuff was just a dream, right? It has to be.
Don't be silly. If it was a dream, could I do this?
In the original game, it's revealed that it's because of him leading the team to nationals that neither the students, the parents, or even the teachers have ever called him out on his despicable behaviors or reported him to any authorities.
This is bullshit!
We then go back to LeBlanc where Sojiro heard about Ren being late on his first day at his new school.
Hey kid, I was on the phone earlier with your school. Couldn't spare me any grief on your first day.
Sorry.
The only place you have to be is school. You hear me?
Ren then thinks about what had happened in the other world when all of a sudden...
Your powers have finally awakened. They are quite special at that. Have you enjoyed the Metaverse Navigator? And you realize that it was I that bestowed it upon you.
That's right. The Metaverse Navigator, or MetaNav, is the strange app that took Ren and the other students to that castle where Shujin Academy was supposed to be. Igor created it in order for Ren to get closer to his rehabilitation.
Continue down this path and the future will be ruinous. But if you master the tools I have given, that may change.
The next day, Ren participates in volleyball in which, what a surprise, Kamoshida is the one who is serving.
Alright kid, put on your game face!
Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
Ren tries to recuperate from his volleyball injury when he overhears fighting from the track team.
Why were you being a smartass with Kamoshida again?
We're sticking with track. We want to keep running in college.
You can't keep blaming him for it.
All we're trying to say is leave Kamoshida alone.
Yeah, they're right. I can't compete anymore. I just need to find a way to get rid of Kamoshida. That'll help the school.
I would love to see you try.
Ren then talks to Kawakami about the student, who by the way goes by the name Sakamoto, where she reveals some information about who he was before what he is now.
Try not to stick too close to him. He's nothing but trouble. He used to be different before the track team disbanded.
Hey.
Speak of the devil.
Just can't wait to share the gossip with the new guy.
You see what I mean? Just stay away from him.
My high school was weird.
Sakamoto and Ren meet back on the rooftop where they talk about the castle they were in the day before.
Yeah, man. We gotta go back in there. I got a feeling there's a secret in that place we can use to finally bust Kamoshida. I don't really got a choice. If I do nothing, I'll just keep ruining my life. I'm done with being kicked around. It's his turn.
That's when Ren makes a bold decision.
Okay.
What?
Let's go.
You serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
They arrive back at the castle with Ren in his outfit from his awakening and go back inside.
And you've got your outfit back. But dude, what's with the pants? You look like you got kicked out of a magic act.
What the heck is that supposed to mean?
Meanwhile, Takamaki talks with another student by the name of Shiho.
Really, it's no problem.
You know, nationals are gonna start up soon, and I'm really worried.
You've been good at volleyball since all the way back in middle school. That's the whole reason you came to this school, right?
Look what the cat dragged in.
I've got a lot of stuff to do. See you, Shiho.
I don't like where this is going.
Back at the castle, Ren and Sakamoto witness a student being used for target practice when a vision appears. And that's when Ren puts it together.
We're in the gym. I know him. He's on the volleyball team.
After that, Sakamoto then shares another rumor he had heard about Kamoshida.
He abuses the students on his teams to keep them from talking.
Sensei, don't do this!
That's gonna leave a mark.
And just when Sakamoto plans to help out the student...
Alright, that's enough with amateur hour. If you want to get out of this alive, listen up. So how about you let me out of here?
What the hell? Is that a cat? A monster cat?
This monster cat is actually Morgana, voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris, the voice of Kyubey from the Madoka Magica series, Taiga Isaka from Toradora, and Leafa from the Sword Art Online series, and also voiced Sumomo Ujima from Persona 4 Dancing All Night.
I'm Sumomo Ujima, everyone's piglet. I'm a pudgy ball of fun who rolls around all day, every day. Yay! Come play, everyone! If you don't spend time with me, I'm gonna cry!
Oh, and what I didn't mention before is that in the post-credits scene of the previous episode, there's a glimpse of a cat's silhouette, and here we see the source. However, in the original game, they meet Morgana the very same day they first enter the castle. Sakamoto tries to get video of the students being tortured, only to realize the cameras don't work here. So it makes sense for Sakamoto to try and save them right away instead of just recording them and leaving them behind. Ren manages to help Morgana escape his cell, and then...
I don't know what's going on, but it ain't my fault!
Well, now's not the time for Q&A, it's time for them to haul ass. Afterwards, Morgana then explains who they're up against.
That guy up there isn't the one you know in the real world. This one is a reflection of what that Kamoshida tries to hide. What you're looking at is Kamoshida's shadow.
That's when the Shadow Kamoshida reveals the truth about Sakamoto's past.
I still remember the pain in their eyes when you dragged the rest of them down because you wanted to be selfish.
That wasn't practice, it was abuse.
No one cares about you peasants. My predecessor was such a hopeless fool when I fired him. Had he known better than to oppose me, I would have stopped at breaking the leg of his star.
What?
Yup, the reason why Sakamoto had been looked down upon by the track team is because he was a track team rebel. He wanted to prove to the other students that he was the best of the best. However, since Kamoshida took over as the PE teacher, he got into some troublesome shit with him, causing him to be turned away by the other runners, along with Kamoshida giving him a serious knee injury as a result. And it's because of this that Sakamoto loses his confidence and falls on his knees in despair.
Damn it! This asshole took everything away from me!
And just when Ren and Morgana are about to be put down, Ren manages to rekindle Sakamoto's confidence.
Are you okay with this? If you want what you had, you must take it back! The only thing you've ever cared about is using people. I see you for the scumbag you really are! Kamoshida!
And that's when it happens.
You've kept me waiting for quite a while. You wish to be powerful? Your name has been disgraced. You have nothing to lose. I am thou. Thou art I. There is no turning back. The skull of rebellion is your flag henceforth!
I could get used to this. What's up, Persona?
We're introduced to Sakamoto's persona, Captain K. Kidd. Captain Kidd is based off of Captain William Kidd, a Scottish 17th century sea captain who became a well-known privateer and pirate who revealed to have hidden treasure before he was executed in 1701. They then fend off against Kamoshida's minions, along with Morgana, who has his own persona by the name of Zorro. Zorro is based off of the character of the same name created in 1919 by American pulp writer Johnston McCulley, first appearing in All Story Weekly as a Spanish masked vigilante who fights for justice while leaving his trademark Z insignia wherever he goes. After that, Morgana and the boys prepare the well-known all-out attack. In the original game, each character is given their special pose as well as a personal slogan after completing the all-out attack. For instance, your slogan is "The show's over," Sakamoto's slogan is "Freaking boring," and Morgana's slogan is "Mission accomplished." Once the other shadows are taken care of, Sakamoto gives Kamoshida a warning that they'll be going after him next, but not before we get some obligatory eye candy.
Huh? Is that Takamaki?
Look at her. Oh man, she's the most meowvelous woman I've ever seen.
Jesus Christ, keep it in your pants, Morgana. Well, that is if you were wearing any, but still, now's not the time. They managed to escape using a safe room. In the original game, the safe room is a hub where the player can consult with their teammates about what to do, use items that can only be used here, use them as shortcuts to get to other rooms of each palace, and even save the game in each room. But they can only be used in the metaverse, and once you leave a palace, you have to wait another day to go back to use it again. And once a palace is completed, you won't be allowed to use them again. Anyway, once they escape, the boys then part ways with Morgana, with Ren thanking him for his help.
Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. We'll see you soon.
At least somebody's got manners.
You are one funny kitty cat.
They once again escape the castle and they decide to eat at the beef bowl shop. And it's here that we hear more about how Ren was put on probation. It's revealed that one night when Ren was walking home alone, he noticed some trouble up ahead. It was a woman being attacked by a drunken bald man. Ren then tries to save the woman, but the man falls and gets hurt and ends up blaming Ren for attacking him. The man then calls the cops on Ren and he gets arrested. Ren is then sentenced to probation for a year. In the original game, it's revealed that the drunken man forced the woman he tried to attack to testify against you. And not only that, he makes a condition to the police not to have his name mentioned in the arrest. So yeah, even though Ren did the right thing and tried to save an innocent woman from being hurt, he still gets labeled as a criminal, gets kicked out of his own home, and gets expelled from his own school. And now he's been given a criminal record to last throughout the rest of the year.
Are you fucking serious?
That's so messed up, man. You weren't the one that hurt her, but you took the fall. I can't go on. You did what you were supposed to. How can it be wrong to help someone out?
What happened was the other student gave his sympathy for Ren because he too knows what it's like to do what you think is right, only for other people to look down on you. And after that, they officially become acquainted. Meet Ryuji Sakamoto, voiced by Max Mittelman, also known as Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, King from the Seven Deadly Sins, and the One Punch Man himself, Saitama.
Thanks. I'll stick with Sakamoto.
Oh, that's cold.
Cheer up, Ryuji, you two will get along real well. In the post-credits scene, we meet the prosecutor from the interrogation room along with her detective partner. They're both on a case to figure out the causes of the mental shutdowns that have been happening all throughout Tokyo.
I believe these are not a coincidence, but the direct result of a being's intention. And if that's the case, this is out of our hands. We are the victims of the supernatural.
Somebody better call an exorcist!
After that, Ren is once again in the Velvet Room with Igor congratulating him for meeting his new comrade and giving an explanation on what a palace is. A palace is a parallel world that is born from hearts possessed by distorted desires. The desires are what causes the palace to manifest, and the person who manifests the palace is the palace's ruler. For instance, Kamoshida sees Shujin Academy as his castle and sees himself as the castle's king, and assumes that Ren and Ryuji have seen in the dungeon are just cognitions of students that Kamoshida sees as his slaves. But that's not all. Also in the original game, Igor and Morgana give a much clearer explanation as to what personas are. Personas are like your inner selves, and the mask on your face represents the mask that's on your heart, and when the mask is removed, your true self gets released. That's when Igor asks Ren a very important question.
So, will you choose to challenge that impregnable castle?
Live or die. Make your choice.
The next day, Ren meets up with Ryuji at Shibuya Station and talks about the palace they were in.
Fine. The truth? It seems like it's all pretty much like you and Mona said. Yeah, there's no way in hell that was actually Takamaki. She'd never wear something that hot.
Ryuji, will you please get your head out of the gutters? They then get to school where Kamoshida thrashes his students during volleyball.
Sir! Hands up!
Why doesn't someone help him?
Yes! What's wrong with people?
While this is happening, Ren and Ryuji sit at the sidelines where they question why there was a cognition of Takamaki in Kamoshida's palace.
Look at her. Sticks out like a sore thumb. You think they're seeing each other? Or what?
The most likely reason he thinks that is because, from what I can tell, was from the day they first met each other where Kamoshida offers to drive her to school. However, that alone doesn't seem like concrete proof about what their relationship actually is. After volleyball ends, Ren and Ryuji ask several of Kamoshida's students for confirmation about the abuse he's been giving them.
Abuse? What abuse?
Don't make false accusations!
We're working towards nationals. It's just an injury.
'Tis but a scratch. A scratch? Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Well, what's that then? I've heard worse.
However, none of them are willing to give them any answers that they needed. That's when Ryuji comes up with an idea.
If the guys won't talk, let's go ask the girls.
Meanwhile, Takamaki and her friend Shiho talk about the rumors about Ren.
About your new classmate.
Yeah, I know. They're just stupid rumors.
I hope he'll be okay.
See, there you go, worrying about others again. But I guess it wouldn't be you if you didn't.
Why don't you be you and I me?
Takamaki then notices the bandages on Shiho's arms.
Looks like practice is getting rough. Is your leg okay? Maybe you should take a break.
The reason for that is because prior to what's happening now is that Kamoshida started assaulting her only for him to notice some strange sense and cease his physical abuse. After that, Ren and Ryuji approach Shiho only for Ryuji to notice Takamaki is with her.
Shoot! Takamaki's with her.
Oh, the possibilities are 1.
Ryuji then tries to ask for confirmation from Shiho.
There's this rumor about Kamoshida and the volleyball.
Where do you get off spreading rumors like that? Sakamoto, you had better not get her involved.
Jeez, what's up her butt?
Takamaki then reveals that Shiho is planning to go into nationals, which makes Ryuji even more concerned about the abuse that Kamoshida is giving her.
Listen to me. Don't you want this to end already?
Let's go, Shiho. You don't need this. Come on.
But what just happened?
After that sudden end, we go back to the interrogation room where the prosecutor acknowledges the scandal with the volleyball team.
Like it says in that article, your school was covering up physical abuse. Were you involved with that incident at all? Did you have prior info about it?
No.
Don't try to be evasive. If you're protecting someone, it will come out in my investigation.
After school, Ren arrives at Shibuya Station and finds Takamaki by herself feeling distressed.
I'm sorry, I'm not really feeling well, so I can't come over now. You're gonna cut Shiho as a starter? But this has nothing to do with that, so why are you...
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Ren overhears her phone call and they meet up at a burger joint by the name of Big Bang Burger. And here they start to become more acquainted. This here is Aunt Takamaki, voiced by Erica Harlacher, who also voices Therese Alexandrite from The Rising of the Shield Hero, Kurapika Kurta from Hunter x Hunter, and Elizabeth Leonis from The Seven Deadly Sins. She explains that Kamoshida knew about her friendship with Shiho and decided to take advantage of it. Kamoshida was planning on having Shiho kicked out of the team because of her kind-heartedness. However, he would retract his expulsion on Shiho if An agreed to take orders from him no matter what they were. But that's not all.
Earlier today, he said to come to his apartment alone. I can't keep doing this! Shiho's my best friend. She's my only friend.
You can understand the pain she is going through right now. She's willing to give up her own freedom to a selfish and manipulative high school teacher just so the only friend she's ever known can be happy and stay on the team. Meanwhile, it's revealed that it was Kamoshida she was talking to on the phone earlier. Kamoshida, not being satisfied with the call, decides to take action and sends another student to bring Shiho to his office.
Mr. Kamoshida wants to see you in his office. I'm only the messenger.
Later, back at LeBlanc, Ren lies in bed and we get a flashback of what happened right after An and Shiho leave him and Ryuji. What I didn't mention is that during volleyball class earlier that day, we get a glimpse of a creature peering from a window. And here is where we meet the creature peering from that window.
That was Lady An, right? The real one's a lot different from the one in the palace, huh?
That voice!
Morgana? Why are you a talking cat?
I am not a cat. This happened when I got here.
So yeah, even though he claims he's not a cat, Morgana escaped the metaverse taking the form of a cat.
Do you not see the hypocrisy here?
Holy crap, you're right, Morty. Hypocrisy.
Morgana then comes up with a plan on what to do with Kamoshida.
You can just use the palace to reform Kamoshida.
For real?
And I can tell you how if you agree to lend me a hand.
There is a catch though. They have to be able to be careful with changing Kamoshida's heart because if there's even one little mistake, he could end up dying. The next day, Ren receives texts from Ryuji questioning about Morgana's proposal from the previous day.
Sure, the guy pisses me off, but I don't want to be responsible for his death.
Just before they can continue their discussion, something is happening from outside the building. No, it's not a joke. Shiho is on the roof and is going to jump off.
Okay, 1, 2. Jesus Christ!
Okay, that's not what happens, but believe me, what actually does happen is just as serious. All the students gather around as the paramedics take Shiho away on a gurney, An of course being the most devastated.
Shiho! I couldn't take it anymore.
She then deduces that Kamoshida was the reason she jumped off the building. Just as Shiho passes out and is taken away, Ren notices a student running from the scene and goes after him. Ren and Ryuji catch up with him, and Ryuji recognizes him as a member of the volleyball team. This here is Yuki Mishima, voiced by Sean Chiplock, also known as Eyelashes from One Punch Man, and Subaru Natsuki from ReZero starting life in another world. This character actually had a bigger part here, because in the original game, he was the last student Yu and Ryuji asked for confirmation about Kamoshida, and as it turns out, he's actually Kamoshida's right-hand student. In other words, he's being forced to take orders from him and defend him whenever anyone tries to call out his unforgivable abuse towards the other PE students. And this is exactly why Mishima was asked in particular to bring Shiho to Kamoshida's office. Later, the three enter Kamoshida's office and confront him about Shiho's attempted suicide after Mishima confesses what had happened.
So when you're feeling ticked off, you call people into your office and hit them, huh?
Don't go flapping your lips without proof. Who's to say this isn't just some wild idea you cooked up to get me in trouble?
This just adds more fuel to the fire. Even though the students are aware of the misconduct that Kamoshida is committing, and with even him revealing that Shiho is now in a coma, he still feels smug that they can't do anything about it. so much so that Ryuji tries to retaliate. However,
why hold me back?
Don't give him what he wants.
Go ahead and take a swing at me.
Kamoshida then plans to have Ren, Ryuji, and Mishima expelled at the next board meeting. After that, Kamoshida drops another bombshell.
Oh, and don't act all innocent, Mishima. You're the one who leaked the new guy's criminal record. What a shame.
He said I had to. I swear.
Got it. Now, get out of my office!
Alright, I guess this is the night bitches die.
Ren and Ryuji are now stuck with what to do next. That's when Ren gets an idea.
Why don't we go talk to Morgana? Morgana said it was a worst-case scenario. Sakamoto, we have to stop Kamoshida.
Later, they activate the meta-nav while unbeknownst to them, there happens to be a stowaway.
What the heck are those two doing in there?
Right, off we go then.
Inside, Ren, Ryuji, and Morgana travel deeper into the palace, avoiding the shadows that are patrolling the rooms they enter. While this is happening, Morgana explains what will happen to the palace along with Kamoshida if they succeed.
Which means, if the castle disappears, it would affect his real self. Even though his distorted desires will disappear, the crimes he committed will still remain. Plagued by all the guilt, Kamoshida is likely to confess his sins.
They manage to find the room where his treasure is, only to find a floating ball of rainbow lights.
Nope. Today we just secured the infiltration route. The treasure needs to appear before we can steal it.
The two are still reluctant about stealing his treasure because, as Morgana had stated, if there is even one little mistake when changing Kamoshida's desires, he'll die. Just before they can make their decision, an alarm goes off.
What the hell's that? Did they find us?
No, that isn't for us.
It turns out that there is someone else besides the three who entered the palace. It turns out, what a surprise, An was the other intruder, and is being held captive by Kamoshida along with his cognitive version of her.
Unfortunately, she's also a filthy intruder and is talking back to me. Now, how shall I toy with you? Or maybe I'll start by cutting here.
Stop!
Call the police.
Thankfully, just before Kamoshida is about to have his way with her, Ren, Ryuji, and Morgana arrive at the nick of time.
Anyway, why are you here?
I'm guessing that when we used the meta-nav, she was nearby.
Is that thing a talking monster cat?
No!
That you're not a cat?
Shut up, you big monkey!
You take that back, you little...
You guys, stop fighting! You're acting like babies.
Oh, you came because you're upset about your friend, aren't you? But it's your fault she jumped, you know. You didn't give me what I wanted, so I had her take your place.
This guy certainly does have the fucking balls to blame An for her friend's attempted suicide. And what's more, he insists that happened because An refused to be intimate with him. And like an idiot, she believes what he's saying. This is exactly what Kamoshida needs to be put into his place. However, just as An is ready to accept her fate...
Is that it then? You're giving up? Don't you want revenge?
Huh? What he did to her? He'll pay. I'm tired of letting this scumbag have his way!
And that's when it happens again.
My, it's taken far too long. I am thou. Thou art I.
I hear you, Carmen. I won't hold back!
If you understand, I'll gladly lend my strength.
An's persona is Carmen. Carmen is based off of the titular character from the 1875 opera by French composer Georges Bizet. She is a gypsy who seduces a soldier by the name of Don Jose, only for her to be murdered by Jose out of jealousy. An manages to get rid of her cognitive self and stands up to Kamoshida.
You stole everything Shiho had, and now I'm gonna make you pay! Now I'll steal all you have!
The four then team up and take out Kamoshida's shadows. In the original game, An's all-out attack slogan is, "OMG, we are so awesome!" Kamoshida escapes before they can deal with him. But now's not the time. It's time for them to get out of here before they get into more trouble. They regroup at Shibuya Station and they figure out that only people who were in the metaverse can hear Morgana talking in the real world.
Yeah, the only people who can talk to me are those who have been inside a palace.
I still can't believe that was real.
After that, Ann agrees to help with changing Kamoshida's heart despite the risk of him dying if they screw up. And with that, they are now officially teammates, and thus the Phantom Thieves are born.
Alright. From this day forward, we're teammates with a common goal, and we'll succeed.
After that, they exchange phone numbers so they can stay in touch, only for them to notice the meta-nav is on Ryuji and Ann's phones as well.
Oh, so that's what you guys have been calling a meta-nav. But anyway, you're all officially thieves like I am.
Phantom thieves?
Yeah, but we don't have a treasure to steal. Now what?
For phantom thieves, you know what to do next, you know?
And that brings us to the end of the first part. It seems that the anime did a good job establishing the characters and plot so far, but the rest of the series will sure to be more investing after what comes next. It seems as though my bond with this review is starting to form.
I am thou, thou art I. Thou hast acquired a new vow. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. With the birth of the Fool persona, I have obtained the winds of blessing that shall lead to freedom and new power.
Yup, I have confidence that the story will be much more investing as we continue on. Alright everyone, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next part of this review. This is Jordan Martinez signing off.